Yeah, good afternoon. I'm here with Phil Murray, who's part of the Dartford FC PreAcademy. It's the first of a series of interviews we're going to be doing with people around the club, so we can get a better understanding of the different departments within the club. Hi, Phil.
Right, Paul.
All right. Well, the first thing I suppose everyone is interested in with the PreAcademy is the news about Ali Reith. How's he getting on?
He's doing very well. I think if people were watching the news last night, hopefully they picked that up. We had him here over the last couple of days refereeing for us, and sadly he can't be involved in the game anymore. But playing wise, but we've sort of talked to him about now getting involved in refereeing, coaching, that sort of thing, which is kind of the next best thing.
So and he's keen on that. 'Cause it's really good to keep him involved, isn't it? It's such a shame that he can't play anymore.
Yes.
With the PreAcademy, there's lots going on, but I suppose a lot of supporters don't really know the full details of the PreAcademy. Could you give us some details of it, Phil?
Yeah, okay. I suppose it was about 5 years ago. Tony Berman came to me and discussed the kind of gap, if you like, between the playing level of our youth teams as they were, because they were playing in local Kent Youth League football at the time, and the first team. And if you think about it, there is a huge gap, because one's at grassroots level at the end of the day, albeit a very good standard in the Kent Youth League, of course. But of course we play at a completely different level competitively as a first team. So his first challenge was, how are you going to close the gap? His second challenge was, how are we going to develop players into the academy? The PreAcademy, as anyone has seen our player pathway photo will know, there's a difference between the two. One's about developing players who will be good enough across a number of areas that he highlighted. So what's Tony after in a footballer? And of course, you know, that's a difficult question, but setting the philosophy, Tony is after players who are technically good, which is obvious, I guess, to most people. The second thing is that they're tactically aware, which brings into a whole host of things. So it's not just about what a player does on the ball, it's what the player does off the ball. And then that they're physically strong enough, because as we know in our level of the game, you know, physicality is a big thing. And then lastly but not least, they've got to be true Dartford people. They've got to really want to play for us, and there's a number of reasons for that, cost not being least of them. So that was kind of the challenge. So we've set up the PreAcademy now to be the feeder into the academy, properly trying to identify those particular attributes in a player, or develop those attributes in a player.
So how many teams do we have at the PreAcademy at the moment? I understand it's boys and girls.
Yep. So at the moment we've got boys under 7s to under 16s, and then we've got girls now, which we started off last year. So with our girls we've got under 13s to under 16s, but underpinning both of those now we've got development centres. So we've got trials coming up at Christmas, so everybody must apply for trials that are out there that are interested in our programme, that will hopefully feed into our PreAcademy and academy squads.
It goes beyond football as well. They do more than football, don't they? There's certain dress standards that they have to adhere to, and certain behavioural standards as well.
Of course, I mean, part of the culture is, or setting the culture is really important. So we like to see players who are well behaved, very respectful. We like to see a particular dress code in setting those standards, and of course at the end of the day, most importantly, we want the right attitude, and you can only get that with a bit of discipline. And everyone buys into that, the players, the parents, the coaching staff, all of us.
Oh, it sounds really good, and I understand we're connected with every school in Dartford as well.
Well, nearly every school. We've got 21 out of 24 now. That's through good work that we do with the FA Skills team. It's joint work with the FA Skills team out in the community, as do a number of other clubs, sort of locally, Ebbsfleet, Welling. But we currently work very closely in running the district squads for that. So the schools now, we've got 21 out of the 24 involved in that programme currently. So that's, if you like, the feeder into the district squads. And of course, the benefit of that is we've got great facilities here. The kids get to play in great facilities, hopefully become supporters, or future Dartford pre-academy and academy players.
And what have been the highlights so far this season, Phil?
Right, for us, I think, is joining the Junior Premier League. So for the pre-academy, we've now, in conjunction with Martin Brock, who's the chairman there, starting to set up a regional format, which sees us playing at both a regional and a national level. So that's really good. So, for example, this morning we've hosted Oxford City, who we know are in our league as well and flying quite high at the moment. Our under-15s had a tremendous competitive game against them this morning. Went 1-0 down, pulled it back 1-1. We went 2-1 down, pulled it back to 2-2, and thankfully young Victor, one of our smaller under-15 players, just nicked it just before the final whistle went. So it's a 3-2 win. And then our under-16s hosted Histon. And we've got a long history with Histon, as you're aware, Paul. They've had a great history of youth development in the past, and our under-16s, who are particularly strong, thankfully, our next batch for the academy won 8-0 this morning. So, which was a tremendous result, yes.
And supporters can come along and watch these games, can't they? On
We'd
the
love
community
to.
pitch.
We want, as you know, Paul, our sort of future thinking is a stand in there, make it a proper stadium. We'd love supporters to come along on a Saturday now with our Junior Premier League squads, our youth squads, certainly the under-13s to under-16s. They'll see some cracking games here against some cracking opposition and high quality opposition, who travel quite some way. We've entertained Russian and Diamonds, as you heard today, Oxford City. Very shortly they go into a national competition, so we'll be playing with our other compatriots, who some of them are just above us, so Mansfield Town, for example. So there's something for everybody to come and watch down here, and some really good players of the future for Tony.
So, and as a community, Dartford's got one of the highest levels of participation at every age group, I understand.
We've got a really good flourishing. It's not just the pre-academy. Let's not forget our junior section. So there's 20 odd teams in that. Sorry, I can't remember the exact number right now, but I think we've got a total number of youth squads now, if you take the academy into account as well, which we've got 3 squads because of the new partnership with the Lee next door. So we've got 41 teams. Now that is a huge number of young people, so it's boys and girls, don't forget, involved in football. And it's not just us, there are a lot of good local grassroots clubs as well. Hayden Youth, for example, is another good example, who we've got very strong links with and ties with. So it's fantastic.
So it'd really be a good thing for local businesses to get involved in, with the connection to all the schools and all the kids. It'd be a fantastic thing for local businesses to get involved in.
I totally agree, Paul. The trouble has always been, and I think you know as a business person yourself involved with the club, is always defining what are the benefits. What are the benefits to the business and to the club? Probably, we have been a little bit guilty at the club of just come and get involved. I think it's more than that. We've got a lot more to offer. We've got a lot more in common with local business than I think we think. And there are some really good opportunities, certainly around the youth and community aspects, that I don't think businesses have seen us doing. Maybe because, it's like you're doing this today, maybe we haven't been good at communicating what we do.
Well, thanks very much. That's Phil Murray, who's head of our pre-academy teams. We'll be interviewing someone else fairly soon, so watch out for the next video. Thanks very much indeed.